Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man, and today we are going to first of all finish putting this tire on the 5440 plow. I got a tube which I was waiting on, so we should be able to mount that up fairly simply, and then this plow should be ready to go out and play with. Then after we're done with that, we're going to work on another tire here on the 550. And I've got a friend in Iowa who would consider this to be a mint condition tire, but I don't think so. So I'm going to replace it, because when you can see tube, your days are numbered. So if he wants this tire, I guess I can mail it to him, but I'm going to just take it off today. So let's get started. We'll start with the easier one, and then we'll come work on this one, which is sure to break out the roosters and the foghorn and the sheep. So we'll start with the easy one first. I promised I'd show you some footage of working on that tail wheel on the 5440 plow, so let's look at that right now. Okay, so I'm going to take this wheel back off because I need to put a seal in this side, because originally this was made to have like a dust cap there, because this went on a spindle that stuck out on a New Holland baler. So I need a seal in both sides of it, and then we can put it back in to stay. It's still painted yellow. That's going to probably bother me, but for now I want to just be able to move it around and play with it, so we'll worry about cosmetics later. So here we go. It's 1 7/8, and I used a lock nut so that it would hold the adjustment, which is going to probably cause me problems now to get it loose again, but so be it. And it's cold here again, and the grass is wet, so it's nice springtime weather. I got my bolt a little too long. I had to make it out of 2 of them, and I'll show you what I did here in a minute. There we go. Come on out of there. Oh, I know what's causing the trouble. These little shim things I put on there. There we go. Now it ought to come out there easier. Whew. It ought to come out of there easier. Come on. There we go. Lost one spacer already, but that's fine. And I dropped the bearing in the grass. That's nice. But hey, you know. Okay, so I think I'll grease it before I put it in too. But what I had to do, because we're squeezing it between 2 pieces, I made these little spacers to take up the slack between the fork and the bearing, and then these will push on the bearing, and the seal will ride on the outside of this. And so because they're 2 tapered bearings, as you tighten it together, it will tighten up on the bearings the tighter you tighten this bolt. And I could not find on hand locally an inch bolt that was long enough, so I cut 2 in half and I welded them together, and I think it'll be fine. I don't think that it's going to break, because it's pushing down on the unwelded section. We'll see. I mean, all it can do is fall apart and become scrap iron. So if that's the worst that can happen, so be it. But I think I'm gonna re-grease these bearings and just pack that full of grease before I put my seal in. I hope my seal is correct. I crossed the number over. It looks correct. I think that'll work. So I'll repack these with grease and then I will put it back on. Well, as per usual, I forgot to hit record again, but I got this back on and I think that's what we want. My little spacers fit in the seal. I noticed that this tire has went down a little. The Chinesium air that it was shipped with must have not been up for the task, so gonna have to do something about that. And I'll probably, once I get this on here for keeps, I'll probably saw off the extra end of this bolt because it's a little too much sticking out. I'll probably catch it on something, but I think we have something now. We'll know here in a minute when we air it up. Now it's all covered with grease, so that's nice. I think that's what we want. Might be a little too much. There we go. Well, I'll get the air turned on. I'll give this a little bit of air and then set it down. Okay, let's see here. Put some good American air in there. There's our problem. Valve core's leaking. No wonder it went flat. See what we can do about that. Is it just loose? Nope. It's junk. Let's take it out. See what's wrong. Let's put in an old junky one. That'll fix it, right? Sometimes the older is better. Remember that, ladies. It doesn't appear to be leaking. It's not bubbling, so we'll put this on. I don't know why this one was leaking, but it's not going to get the chance to do that again. Whoops! It's gone. Alright, let's set this down and see how it looks. We'll use our very dangerous handyman jack, which does not jack on its own anymore. Needs a little attention. But I'm not going to do that. That would be too much safety. So we're just going to go ahead and use it inappropriately. Actually, if I just put some oil on it, it would work great, but oh well. Works good as a manual jack every single time. You flip the pins. There we go. There, look at that thing. Up on its wheel. It sits pretty level. I think that's what we want. Now the only thing really left to do is I got this rim I want to clean up and put a new tire on, take the place of this rim, and then I think we should be in business. Alright, let's see here. Well, it occurs to me that maybe I should narrate more of this so that people who have no idea what's going on can understand. But basically, we got to put this inner tube inside the tire. So step one is sticking the valve stem through the hole, and then I screw this tool on here, which will keep it from pulling all the way through, because then you have a mess and you have to start over. And when you get these tubes out of the package, one side has this blue stripe, and that is the side that's on the opposite of the valve stem. So when you're going stuffing it in the tire, try to keep that side away from the valve stem so it doesn't get all wadded up in there. So that's what we're doing. So we'll go ahead and put that in now, and then we will try to air it up. We'll get this bead on the other side of the rim where it's supposed to be, and then we'll air it up. Well, come on. There we go. Now we need to pry this tire over the edge of the rim. So we'll do that. And we have to be careful not to pinch the tube. That's a mistake that people make a lot of times when they're doing this. And of course that won't accomplish anything because you'll have to start over. It may be kind of hard to do this on here high up in the air like it is, but we're going to try. Let's see here. And hopefully you can see what's going on. Come on, tire. There we go. You have to get it also, push the tire down in the inside step of the rim so you get more flex out of the tire. I usually like to do the valve stem area last, but it just didn't work out that way this time. Come on. That might have been, there we go. Almost. Jump over there. There we go. Okay. So now we're ready for air. So we'll go get the air hose and then we'll put some air in it. Now the trick is, while we do this, that we don't accidentally let it pull the valve stem inside, because then we have a real mess. And about the only way to fix that problem is punch a hole in the tube and start over. So we don't want to do that. But we're going to put air in here until this tire jumps up onto the bead of the rim here. And hopefully it doesn't just blow apart in our face. This part can be dangerous if you're working with junk tires, so use caution if you're doing something stupid, because it can come on with quite a snap. You can see it moving. And it'll get all the way against this metal of the rim. I think it's coming on just fine. A lot of times when you clean up and paint rims, then it mounts easy because it's not catching on anything. And you can actually, maybe not on the camera, but you can hear in person the tube in there getting itself turned and positioned. So what I usually do is, once it's aired up and the beads are set, I let the air out and then re-air it up so that the tube can kind of find its happy place if it was in a bind. So this is where you got to watch that you don't accidentally let the valve stem go inside either. So we'll just hold on to it and we'll let it deflate, and hopefully the tire should stay where it is, but the tube inside is contracting enough that it's able to flex and figure out where it needs to be. So it's pretty well empty. We'll go ahead and put it back in now and air it up to our final pressure, which usually on farm tires is about 35 psi. I cleaned and painted this rim and then realized it was a 14-inch rim. The original was 15, but this should work just fine. It's still an Oliver rim, so. Here we have about 20. I think 30's enough. We don't need to overdo it. It's not going to really be carrying much weight. So hopefully tomorrow this still looks like this and it hasn't leaked out all its air. Now we'll go on and we'll work on the 550 tire. Okay, so here we are in the 550, and I've already got it jacked up off the ground. So step one is going to be to let all the air out of it. So we got to get our very muddy valve stem here, and we'll let the air out. Wherever our hole is, there it is. Yeah, you can see it was coming all the way out. There it goes back in. Yep, that's a hole, all right. I'm amazed it lasted as long as it did, because I've been feeding with it square bales, so it did a good job. Now, for our next order of business, we need to break this tire off of the bead up here, and you can do that with a hammer and some bars and stuff and work that way. But I've got this, the little buddy, and it's a handy little device to help you break these away. Maybe kind of overkill on a little tire, but it certainly beats doing it by hand. And it says very clearly in the instructions to not use an impact. You cannot use an impact. Well, I've got news for them. You can use an impact, and I will use an impact, and if I destroy it, I'll buy another one. So that's what we're gonna do. So here we go. So the trick here is to get this hooked behind there. Sometimes it's easier than others. And my little buddy is bent, so I need to heat it up, I guess, and straighten the tip back out of it. But usually, with a little persuasion, you can get it started. And now it's going to roll off the jack, so that's good. Bye-bye. Okay. That's nice. The handyman jack again for the win. Let's try again. Should have put it in gear. Ah. There we go. Now we'll try it. Let me move you out of the line of fire because I'm sure to destroy something. Get in there, little buddy. Nope. There we go. Well, I'm not prepared. I should have had that all hooked up already. And I didn't do it. There we go. I should have probably also done the backside first. But there we go. You can see how it works. It just wedges itself in there and that leg comes out and pushes it off of the edge of the rim. So we'll take the bar and go all the way around and break it loose, and then we'll have to go to the back side and do the same thing. There we go. Now we gotta get to the back side somehow. Whoop. There we go. Sometimes I like to flip it over the edge first and then break the back loose. So, and I'm doing this with it on the tractor. Sometimes I think that's easier. Come on off of there. There we go. Oh. Little buddy for the win. All right. Now we need to get this tube out. Which, if we didn't punch a hole in it just now, it was a good tube. Probably a little stressed. Here you can see what they look like when the tube is maybe a little too big and it's folding in on itself inside the tire. You want to avoid that happening. That's why I let the air out before you air it up your final time. But anyway, that tube did us good. Now we got to get this off the outer edge, which sometimes can be a chore. However, this tire is rotten enough that I'm thinking that we'll get it just fine. Just a little pressure and hammer. How about that? Now, it's not in my nature to put a tire on a rusty rim like this, so I'm gonna probably sand this up real quick and give it a coat of some kind of paint, let it dry a little bit, and then put the new tire and rim on, or new tire and tube on. So I'll get to work on that. Well, we'll let that sit for a while, and then we should be able to put our new tire and tube on. So we'll table this and come back to it later. Well, I think this is dry enough now, so we'll go ahead and try to put our new rubber on here. I'll try to get you mounted up somewhere where I'm not going to whack the camera with the tire tool. So here we go. Might as well mount you on the safest place, the handyman jack. That way, if something happens, it'll hurt us both. In case you wondered what $100 looked like, here we are with our brand new tire. Trying to do too many things at once here. There we go. All right. Now, oh man, my tire guy must have got excited. Look at how long of a valve stem he gave me. I'm not sure that this is going to do what I want, but I don't really have a choice today. I need to... Boy, that's really crap. That's going to not work. Well, I guess I'll put it in there and then end up ripping it off later and have to do it again, but that's not ideal. It should be, you know, about that long, half the length. So, I don't know what we got going on here, but, well, it wouldn't be any fun if I didn't get to do it twice. So, we'll go ahead and put this in with the understanding that we'll be doing it again sometime, because you're almost guaranteed to rip off a valve stem that long. Come on. There we go. Let's get you in on the action. Boy, we'll take bets on how long it takes to rip that off, because I know that's not going to work. Maybe with the supply shortages, that's all he could get me. I don't know. But I definitely will be asking him about it. There we go. Now, time to air it up. And then we'll rip it off, because that's ridiculous. I can't believe that. That's nuts. Plenty to hold on to while you air it up. And see, we have to make the tire jump up on here, which it may or may not do easily. Sometimes it's a trick. There it goes, you can see it moving. Probably should plug the air compressor back in. My prediction is going to be, not only will I rip that valve stem off, but I'll ruin this new tire when it goes flat. So we'll see in the future if my prediction is accurate, but I really have a feeling that that's what's going to happen. I suppose for good measure we should let the air back out and let that tube do its thing. Let's look at the back side. Did we get it all the way around? It looks like it. I also checked the bearings and they're good on here, so we don't have to take those apart and pack them right yet. So we'll let the air out. And we'll air it up for keeps. Okay. I doubt we have enough air. Come on. Maybe we have enough air in the compressor to air it up one more time, but we'll see. I can feel it going in, so in theory, you should be able to get whatever you have in the tank till you're equal pressure of what's in the tire, and then it'll quit moving, but we'll see. Let's see what that is. That is about 15. So we need to go more. And I'd say we're going to be firing up the compressor. This is going to take forever. $25. Can we get 10 more out of it without getting up? Turning the compressor on? We'll try, because we're lazy. I had thoughts of just putting the old tube back in when I saw this, but since it's been running, sticking out of the sidewall of the tire, I think we have a better shot with this one for a while, and then we can always change it when we blow it up. That's really a bummer. There's 33. Let's try a little more. That's good. Now, whoops. I don't know what to put on there. It has a weird cap on it. It really doesn't matter because we're going to rip it off, so. But we'll put that on. That torpedo. Well, that's nice. Every time it comes around, it's going to hit something. I think I will go ahead and order the correct tube so that it's here whenever this does self-destruct, so I can hopefully swap it immediately. Well, as usual, I guess I'll have to call this a half win. We got a new tire, but only for a limited time because it sticks out a good inch or so past the edge of the tire, so I'm sure I'll tear it. I texted my tire guy and told him not to store his tubes and Viagra on the same shelf anymore, but he said this should only last 4 hours, so maybe tomorrow it'll be the right length. Remember, if you like Oliver and White videos, hit that thumbs up and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss anything that I come up with. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.